And you're on.
Oh, hey. It's me. Hey, welcome to Side Dish, everybody. What are we doing? We're doing a lot of things. Actually, we're not doing that much. We're making crepes, first of all. But I should probably tell you why we're making crepes. And I said we're going to make them last week in anticipation for next week. Because next week, hi, Annie. Hi, Ping. Everybody's here. Lane is behind the camera. He may come out and say hello at some point when we're tasting crepes. But so we're gonna do crepes, and then we're gonna do some rye whiskey cocktails. Probably Manhattan for sure. Amy is in Philadelphia, and she was at this Cuban place, and she sent me a screenshot of their menu, and they had a cocktail called an R&R something, and which uses rum, so I'm going to use dark rum and make that for myself. The great thing about crepes is they can be savory or sweet. This crepes recipe is courtesy of my friend John. John, if you're out there, thank you for sending this to me. Where I really got in, where we had crepes, I had crepes mostly, was John making them. And I will admit that I made a few earlier just to get the technique down, and I got to tell you, it's a little tricky. So we'll go over some of that stuff, but I've got a few things going on. I got a lot of toppings, and we got a lot of like savory stuff. We got all that. I'm making a little bit of a compote sort of berry spread that I'm gonna let thicken up a little bit more. But that's blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries, so that's gonna be good. I've got homemade bacon that I fried up, and we're going to take some of the stuff we did for last week with the salads that are, we've got a little bit of the shallots left and some of the red onion mixture, and we're going to do that with the prosciutto and maybe a little bit of the fresh mozzarella. We've got some goat cheese. We've got all kinds of stuff to go on it. So for the Americans in the house, how was everybody's 4th of July? Hopefully you have all 10 of your phalanges still. So it was low key because Amy's in Philadelphia. So I had Denise and our friends Billy and Teresa and their family came over, and I made ribs. Denise brought potato salad. There were some beans, and that was it. And I made a strawberry lemonade ice cream that was. It might be one of my masterpieces.
Really?
It's really, really good. I actually had to stop eating. I was eating it last night, and I told myself, I have to stop eating this so that I have it so Amy can taste it when she gets back. So I made my thing. So nearly rained out. Wow, I wish we'd get some rain here. We are in the middle of a excessive heat warning for the old northern Nevada area. Today, I think it was only 103 degrees or 104 degrees. Yesterday was also hot. I think through Thursday next week, like Wednesday of next week, it's supposed to remain this. It's terrible.
It's a real scorcher out there.
It's a real scorcher. Oh, I have a partner down here. He's watching me from down here. Hi, Blue. Hi, Dad. Just making sure this doesn't burn. Yeah. What did you get? Fireworks were crazy. We didn't, not in my neighborhood, and I didn't really go out to go to see fireworks. I don't care about them, to be perfectly honest with you. Do you care about fireworks?
I like them if I'm really close to them and you can feel the explosion on the inside of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You can feel it. So you like how the explosion feels.
Yes.
Okay. The bass. We could just turn up the bass in the music really loud. You'd probably get a similar thing. I don't know. Okay, so we're just going to get this started because we need to let this, well, we actually don't. Like I said, I made some batter earlier, but it needs to rest a little bit before we do it. So 6 large eggs, or 6 eggs, and we're just going to kind of combine stuff together, but there's a little bit of a method to the madness.
You've got the color medley of eggs there.
Yeah, I ran out of eggs. I like these brown ones are the organic ones from Costco. And these are just the standard, which I think it's hilarious that the standard like regular egg from Costco is white, and then the organic ones are brown. So like, whatever. I like organic eggs just because a lot of times the organic eggs, the eggs are chickens are treated better, usually open pasture or they eat natural foods and stuff instead of being stuffed full of badness, which I don't like. So. Yeah. But you take what you can get when they don't have eggs.
Yep.
So.
Oh. That is right.
Anything else going on? Let's see.
Hundreds of boxes.
Whoa. That is a lot. That wow. Ping, have you been tying one on today?
Yeah, really.
What's going on?
What's that all about?
So I will admit that I was making. I also made homemade strawberry lemonade for a drink, and so then I was adding tequila to it on 4th of July, and I was like, "This is excellent." So I'm just gonna mix these up real quick.
What is IKR?
I know, right?
Oh,
it's internet slang.
What? I'm not up with what the kids are saying these days.
You got it's skibbity dibbity Riz. That's what you got.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know what Riz is. It's charisma. It's like you have lots of charisma. But I'm like, somebody literally said like skibbity or something like that, and I was like, I know that that's not for me, right? Like I am a big proponent of like cultural touchstones. I don't have what people who are 30 or more years younger than I do have. Okay, I get it. But I can understand when you're like listening to younger people talk and they're like, I'm like, what is happening? And I think it scares people. And the reason it does is because they don't know what they're saying. And so like they like, what are they, what the hell is what does this mean and what is Riz? And you're like, it's all slang. You also had, your own slang, daddy-o, and things like that. So it's insane to me. This is episode 199, which is super exciting, right? It's one away from the big show.
Yep.
So did I say what we were going to do for the big show? I didn't. We're going to make, I'm going to have to spend all week making crepes. Because I need 200 of them.
That's a lot.
Because I'm going to be making a 200-layer crepe cake.
Say that 200 times fast.
200-layer crepe cake. That's it. That's all you get. That's a cup and 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. Fatty livers.
Yeah.
I know how that is. I'm fat everywhere, but fatty livers are bad. Half a cup of just table regular sugar. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we're going to mix this together a little bit. And then, I'll tell you what. I do have an occasional cocktail, but I don't drink.
Yeah, you don't go crazy.
I just don't go crazy. I mean, I like 1 or 2, and I call it good.
Yeah.
The drinking to excess just seems like something that this is not fun to me. And I just need a little pinch of salt. That's it. So, and we're going to mix this together with our hand mixer here. Now, I tried to do this with one of my crank mixers. It was a mistake. So,
why is that?
Because it just was very, very hard to do. It got very stiff. I could do it, but I probably have a sore arm today. Ooh, look at that color. Okay. I'm going to make sure this is turned all the way down now. Oh, yeah, that's going to be good. Actually, I'm going to turn that off. And now I have 1 cup of milk that we're going to slowly drizzle in here. According to these instructions from John is, this is half a stick of butter.
We don't want to forget ingredients.
We don't. We will.
Like I don't think that's ever happened, but we don't want it to happen.
I don't think it's ever happened either. I mean, there's no photographic proof of it ever. There is photographic proof of Landon eating things and going, "These are great." But yeah, so the butter, you want it melted. Again, you should look into why the different styles of butter, what it does. Melted butter. Oh, I'm ridiculous. Anyways, it's just got a different, consistency in what it adds to the butter or to the mix. So I want to make sure. Here's the deal. I don't know. I love Landon, but there's sometimes I think, is he ever completely honest in the moment? And a lot of times I'm like, I think he might be putting me on here. And I have, over the years of our 20 plus years of friendship, there's little signs that you can look for in a Landon story to make sure that they're true or not. If he gets overly excited while he's telling it, it's not true. Okay, so you can see how it's crawling up the side here?
Yeah. Oh man, we're gonna get a close in on that.
Oh yeah. We want this to look like heavy cream in consistency when we're done. Denise is here. She's just off to the side, pushing buttons on her phone, trying to win fake money on her poker game. I don't think we're quite there yet. It's a little bit thicker. We still have a lot of milk to go anyway, so. Nothing, I mean, again, not too terrible in terms of a methodology of doing this. The real skill comes when you're making them. So this I actually put in about probably this much extra, just because it's about a quarter of a cup. I did that just so we could look at it, but I think that's pretty much. You want it to be a little bit runny, because what's going to happen is when we put it in the pan, you need to be able to swirl it around, and if it takes its time, you're not going to get a thin enough layer. Mm-hmm. So. Boink. That's all we'll need that for. Okay, so you want to let this kind of hang out for about 15, 20 minutes or so.
Jeez, I wonder what we could do
in that time.
We're
gonna play with the magic of television.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this move. In Wayne's World, we're like,
Yes.
That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna walk over here, and I'm gonna then go like this, and I'm going to walk back. And we're going to have some that's already been done. So we're going to use our friend
Tiny whisk.
and he is going to help us mix some stuff up here. Just, you want to make sure that since it's been sitting, there's eggs, there's melted butter, there's milk, there's possibility it can separate. So you just want to make sure it doesn't. So, you know. Now, I just turned this on. It's gonna warm, and then we're gonna play the fun game of, is it hot enough? So I will just tell you, crepes are like pancakes. The first ones are not gonna be pretty. You're gonna get to a point where you're gonna be like, that's not nice, that doesn't look nice at all. And you're like, you're right, it isn't.
What's your favorite method for determining if it's hot? Or too hot?
Well, if it's too hot and you put the butter in, it's going to sputter. It's going to go and turn brown. This is, you know, I want it to be warm enough that it's melting. It's like a medium heat is what you want, but watch it. Medium heat, medium saucepan. Like, I've got this thing, this goes up to 5. I currently actually have this set to 1.5. Even though you would think you could put it on 3 or 2 or whatever. But I found that when I was doing it earlier, it was a little bit too much. And the butter on a few batches, like when you're doing it, was not hot enough. So you want to make sure that you're coated the entire bottom of this. And I'll move that so you can see. I don't know how it's going. And then I've got 1/4 cup. This guy's been sitting, so we're going to... He's got some stuff in him. And I had to thin this batch out a little bit because the first, when I made it, it was a little too thick. So what it did, like I said, the pieces that came out of the crepe were good, but it was just not, you know, wasn't thin enough. Now this is 1/4 cup. And I think the butter is bubbling, but it's not overly hot, so I'm going to just turn it up a teeny tiny bit. I'm going to take it off the heat. This is what I've discovered in my things. Put it in, and then just kind of spread it. Now, the other thing you got to watch for is, you know, too much butter in the bottom, but you don't want it to, you know, I find you don't want it to get stuck, so you got to be careful. There's a balance here. And we're going to figure it out. Like I said, the first batch is never going to be what you want. So do that. And again, you can kind of get it, I don't know. Look, everybody, it's going to be fine. So we're going to let that sit. What is it going to do? It's going to cook. And what are we looking for? We're looking for the edges to start to get like lacy and like almost crumbly in a sense. And that will tell us it's ready to flip. I was worried that they were going to be too delicate to flip, but I found that once they set, they were fine. So we're going to make a few of these. If you have an oven, you want to, which I hope you do, because you can't cook without it, you can set to warm, and then if you're going to serve these right away, if you're making them on demand, you can put them up, you can play them up for people as they come off, and I mean, it's kind of like that conveyor belt. Like, you want them, they're nice and warm and hot and coming off. So, do you guys make crepes at home? Do you think crepes are delicious? I find them to be very excellent. So,
yeah, they can be quite tasty. I've never made them at home, but I remember when I was in high school, my sister did.
Nice. See,
that was a while ago.
Yeah. Now, again, you want these kind of be thin-ish. I mean, there's only 1/4 cup of like liquid in here, so it's not like it's a ton. But, you know, give yourself some room to kind of work here. And you don't want something overly big. I figured that out. I was going to use I bought this new pan. It's a ceramic non-stick pan. And I was going to use that, but then I was like, maybe that's too big. So this is fine, I think.
That's what she said.
From the bleachers, Denise comes in. This recipe is really great. They're sweet, but not overly sweet. So it allows that savoriness to really pull out too. So you can have a little bit of that, deliciousness added to it on the savory side, and you don't get overwhelmed with it like, oh, that's just too sweet. Like a pancake could be, it's also pretty neutral, but this is, again, where you just kind of want it to not be sweet, unless your only application is sweetness. Then you could probably do it, but let's let your toppings have a little bit of space. So I can kind of see the edges. They're not totally thin enough, but it's probably because I also made this too fat. I don't know. So what I'm going to do, we're just going to take a look-ski. Nope, that's got a little bit more time. Okay. So I have a plate, and I'm just going to set that on that thing. And I'll use.
Flip them in the air?
Can I? No, we're not. Have you seen this show? Anyways. So I think, oh yeah. Now, from my viewpoint, I kind of think it looks like it's a big fat squashed foot with 5 toes, but that's just me. Or, you only want to do this second side 30 seconds. Because it's really, you're brown and getting a little bit of color on it. Otherwise, it's pretty much, that's it. Now, the beauty of this is that you have to make so many of them. If you're going to be having a bunch of people together, then that's what you want to do. Pancakes are, I love breakfast like fluffed breads, pancakes, French toast, crepes.
Yeah.
I just love all of it. I think they're just delicious.
I love all those things too.
Who was the better student?
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Who was his sister or him, or is that what you're looking for, Danny?
Oh, well, if that's the case, we were both pretty good. She took croissants are good. She took pretty high math, I feel like, in high school, but not in college.
If you can make a really good croissant sandwich, or even again a great English muffin with just butter and like a little jam, get out of town.
With the nooks and crannies. So is that too hot?
That might be too hot. See, but it is. You just have to watch. Now, I also was not very much of the butter, so there wasn't a lot for it to just.
Between you and me. That's the question.
Oh, I don't know. I think it was Landon. I'm a terrible student.
I wasn't always the best.
I was not good. I didn't really enjoy. I mean, I like learning, I should say, but college was not my jam. I mean, I had fun while I was in college.
Yeah.
That's why I was there for so many years. Okay, see now I think that is going to be more in line of what we were looking for in terms of classic crepe.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to get better at this as we go, so we just need to...
It's like what you were saying, the first one,
Well, there's heat, there's instigation. Landon and I only love each other. That we will never hate each other.
Yes.
That is one benefit of what every time when we greet and when we leave each other, there is a giant bear hug involved.
Yes.
It has been that way forever.
There's actually really only one competition we ever have done, and we haven't done it for a long, long time. It's when we would wrestle together.
That is correct. I forgot about that. And the best part is, Landon is taller than I am, and he's got really long limbs, and so he goes like this, like he's coming at you. So,
But yeah, we'd actually just joke. We'd
yeah,
we do like really exaggerated, stylized wrestling face-off moves, and then never really actually wrestle.
No, but the thing is that, and I will just say this in general, like, right, you need to be able to have people in your life, especially that are not always in the same agreement with you on a lot of things, and oh yeah,
Oh, gee whiz! Would you look at that one?
yeah. See, we just have to. If a door opens on that side of the house, or he thinks he hears a voice, the dog goes crazy. So.
The orange cat is out.
Yep. Tormund is looking for his food. He thinks that he's always starving because he has stomach cancer, so. He smells something sweet. He probably smelled like the lemon or like the cream that came out or whatever. So this is good. This is a good one. And again,
That one looks great.
it's gonna be. I think that's what you want is the thinness of it. Again, don't get me wrong. This one is gonna still taste really good. I ate like 2 of these earlier just to test everything out. But I do want to make sure that we're. Are you puking over there, Jack? Yep. Cool. I live a charmed life, everyone. I just hear. Nah, we'll get it later. For now. But yeah, make sure you always just like, oh yeah. See, look at that. Oh, that is warm, but it's not hot. Look how nice shape. It's thin. That's what we want. And so you want to, if you're not going to be serving these right away, eventually you're going to want to, you're just going to start putting these in your oven. And so again, I just have the thin bladed, thing there, and I'm just kind of getting enough butter to be dangerous. So I think turning the temperature down helped a bit. See, it was not nearly as
Buttery.
volatile.
Yes.
Boink. I think I'm gonna have to make a lot of batches of this. Make 200. And then again, you just. This is a good consistency that we've gotten to. And the pan is warm enough here that you can see, like, as soon as it hits, it kind of sets. I think that was also part of the problem earlier too, is that even with the butter being a little bit too much, I think it was just one of those issues of not being, you need to have something warm enough. And nonstick really benefits from, like this ceramic one, like you wouldn't need to even use butter if you didn't want to. Now, butter's delicious, so you should, but you don't need to because it's, non-stick on its own. So, but there's 2 things that we're seeing, like these are before, that wasn't cooking fast enough because I think it was still too thick. So what was happening, there was like a spot in the middle you couldn't move it around, but you could just see there, like I could move it around pretty easily. And then that laciness around the outside is it's really coming together there. So I'm going to make basically the rest of this. We're going to put them in the oven. We're going to have a cocktail. We're going to prepare all of our accoutrement to go into the crepes, and then if you want to join me on this side, Landon, then we can we can make them together, and that kind of stuff.
What margarine thingy?
I can't bring myself to eat margarine. Sorry. I don't know why.
But is there a
what is the margarine
thingy?
thingy though? I don't know that. Sorry. I should have been.
I'm generally against margarine.
I just think like, there's it's healthy, but again, then there's like, it's partially hydrogenated oils, and that's not good for you, and butter's not good for you. But I kind of want. Wait, butter is a natural product, right? It is not to get butter. You don't have to process it in a way that is like.
He's not for margarine either.
Blue is strictly against margarine. I don't know if it's because I was doing big hand movements or what,
It
but
must be.
he did not like that at all. So.
Oh, we've got a new commenter here.
Oh, hi. Bread consumer is Neil. He's part of the East Words Club. I wondered if you would come because of it's bread related, Neil. So I'm glad to see you.
Yes, of course. Yeah, the funny thing about margarine is I believe it was created because they were like, oh, this is healthier than butter.
And
But as science progressed, they're like, it's actually worse for you than butter.
Yeah, but it's funny because before margarine there was something called oleo, which was like a precursor to margarine, which was, I don't even know how it's that, but I have a number of recipes from Amy's grandmother that they call for oleo, which
Really?
you can just substitute margarine, and if you're doing that, then you might as well substitute, just substitute butter. So. All right, so this is coming to a point where you can see again starting to brown on the edges. That means we're probably got a good brown on the underside. Yep. Oh yeah. Goes down.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, these are good. So I believe, again, this is a thing of like, the more you do it, the better you get. And you won't make crepes for a long time, so you need to practice a little bit unless you don't care. And you're just going to give people, crepes. And here's the shape that it is. Eventually, they'll be roundish. And the best part to do it is roll them up anyways.
Yeah.
Put your whatever you want on there and
Your
just roll them
fillings.
up. Nutella is really good in a crepe. I don't have any Nutella. I don't believe. Do I? No, I do not have any Nutella. I do have tahini, which but I also have, we're going to use peanut butter. We've got some Hershey syrup. So, we got all the good stuff. Oh, and I also made what is called John's Crunchy Whipped Cream, which is best. You beat the whipped cream in a bowl until soft peaks, and then you add raw turbinado sugar, and then you beat it till a little bit stiff. And then what that is that adds a crunch to the turbinado sugar. You get a crunch as you're going.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it earlier in that mixing because what you're going to find is that you're going to have a hard time keeping the peaks because the sugar is more crystallized and it will, pierce the air out of as you're beating it. So.
Gesundheit.
Jeez Louise. Denise is allergic to not having any crepes in her belly.
Yeah.
So, once again, beauty.
Looking good.
So, this process
Looking
keeps going.
good.
Now, the issue that you have is you sort of want to have enough ready to go for when you have people coming over. So, make sure that you, again, this seems to be a very fine line of like
The right temperature.
the right temperature. So, I'm just going to keep it in the middle there. But so you could have, a whole bunch of these ready for people coming over, and then you just make fresh ones as people want new ones or whatever. So.
So what temperature setting do you have it at now?
So I just put it back down to 1.5. I had it just below 2, so we know 2 is definitely too hot, and even the 1 and a little bit more is too much. So
I have one of those at home. It goes to 11. It gets really hot, and it will melt a pan on it if you're not careful.
oh yeah, why does it go to 11? Why don't you just?
It's
say
just how
10 hotter?
they make. Well, it's it's 11 is hotter than 10.
It's true, but I mean, you could just make 10 hotter.
Oh.
And that is a two-man production of our interpretation of This Is Spinal Tap. Yeah, we're dorks. We're dorks. And this is why I love Landon, because he will go into a bit and that is really aimed only at me. And then we get to go together on it and then have a nice journey.
Yes.
One of my favorite things ever, though, is when Landon was living with our friend Aaron in the dorms, they had a whiteboard outside of their room. And, you know, on, I think it was Friends, like, Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza instead of Tiny Dancer. And, like, they had that out there. And then somebody took the time to basically write the F slur on their things. And it was like, why? It's like so specific of a humor thing that they don't understand, like, that they went to such an extreme, like, you're like, it seems a little bit extreme to go that far, that over what you have no idea of the reference or whatever. So, but it is a funny thing because it's just like, you Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza is like, if you know what that is, then, but it's still also like, why would you? But also it's an all boys dorm, you know.
Yeah, it was.
So I saw some weird stuff there. So
Historic building.
it is. Now it's a bunch of offices.
Yeah.
But it's haunted too. And look, you can say what you will, but I remember going, I think I was either leaving or coming to go to your guys' room. And I came up the stairs and I saw like a woman, I don't know, probably college age, but wearing this was nowhere near Halloween.
A hoop skirt.
Exactly. No, it was like a poodle skirt and like a 50s outfit, and I was like, either somebody is really into role play or I just saw a ghost, because it was like they were there and then they weren't there, but it was also nowhere.
She was showing up for the sock hop.
Yeah, in the basement. We used to watch in the basement. It was this old historic building that had somebody just plunked a bunch of couches and a TV down there, and we'd watch VH1's, what was that word? God, what was I can't remember the name of that show, but it was where they do.
You're making an assumption, Annie.
No, I was not, but Landon was.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's all right. I'm trying to be. What the hell was that VH1 show where they used to talk about music videos? Does somebody know what I'm talking about?
Is it where we said that's your theme song? Yeah.
That was also a good move. Where it was like they just got on and then we'd go. The next song is your theme song, and every single time it would always make us laugh. Because it was always something just ridiculous and very good. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
I remember the TV room in the basement. On Monday nights, there was a group of guys that liked to watch professional wrestling.
That's right.
And I'm a real jerk, I guess, because I didn't like to watch it. So I was annoyed that they were watching the TV of something I didn't want to watch. And there was a cable splitter like outside the TV room. And they never realized this, but I'd disconnect it. And then they'd be like, oh, the TV's broken. Oh, and then they'd leave and I'd reconnect it and watch what I wanted to watch. Am I a jerk? Is that?
Okay, so here's the thing that I find hilarious about that is because here's what I think. It's innocent enough, but also your brain is not fully formed. So you're like, the selfishness involved in that is like, I think it's more like compulsory more than anything. It's not like you could be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll go do something else. The problem was that you didn't have a TV in your room.
Yeah.
So you just like, you had one space to go to, and you know.
And there was some judgment on my side too. Sure. If they were watching something that I didn't think was stupid, that I just didn't care for, I probably wouldn't have done it.
But you thought it was stupid, so. Listen, I watched a lot of professional wrestling, but I was my late teenage years into college, and still. And I think it's hilarious because so
Okay, thanks, Annie.
yeah. The thing that's hilarious is I was watching. Do you guys? There's Dropout TV, which is it used to be College Humor, and now they have their own streaming service or whatever. And they have a show on there that's called Smarty Pants, and they were talking about how they do basically they take a topic and then they make an argument about something. So this gal, she made an argument that professional wrestling is just basically that and drag are basically the same because it's like, and the case that she made was great because it's like they each have a persona, they have like flamboyant clothing, there's storylines, there's like goods and bads, and there's like all these stunts and things that go on, and everybody like, she made this case, and I was like, she's right.
There's a lot about drag I don't know, evidently. There's good drag characters and bad drag characters.
I guess like through like RuPaul's Drag Race, I don't really. It's not my demographic thing to watch.
There's definitely some that are more sassy than others.
But there's like I guess they have like characters that are some because for drama. I'm sure that there's no ill will amongst, and it's the same thing. Like she was just saying, like how you can go in professional wrestling, you can be what's called a heel, or you can be the hero, she said something about like the same thing on like Drag Race, and that you can switch sides, and you can go from being the bad to the good. And I thought, so I looked it up, and I was like, this is incredible. It is very, very similar. So like, did they take the model that was professional wrestling and apply it to like RuPaul's Drag Race? And I found it to be, I was just like, this is infinitely fascinating. But it's so funny because she was just talking, she was like, I love both of these things. I've loved professional wrestling since I was a kid, and I think I know why. As a lesbian, I find it to be like, as I learned what drag was, like I was like, oh, these are definitely the same thing. And that's why I think I love both, because of the flamboyance of it. And I thought that is hilarious, so.
Yeah. Or it's like a soap opera.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, again, take what you will from either side of it, but I think people like stories and drama. So, I need to find a better thing for this application. This is not the best way. I was thinking, is there
One of your scoop.
Well, that was just what you read my mind, Denise. But I think I would use the biggest scoop. And as we know, I'll call this one it. I can't believe I found it so much. Usually I have to spend 10 minutes down there. So, okay, we've got a number of these, I think. There's 4 or 5. We'll do this one and one more, and that way each of us can have a savory one and a sweet one.
Man, when you've got to make 200, Doug.
Oh, I'm gonna
You're gonna
have to
work
start
cut
on
out for
Monday.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna have to do like 20 a day until Friday, and then put them in a Ziploc, that 20 in a Ziploc bag, put it in the refrigerator, and then I'll probably have to get a roll of parchment paper to put between each of them. So.
Well, you got those round things that we got.
Oh, that's a hell of an idea, Denise. Oh. So Amy bought these rounds for the pizza oven that turned out to not work the way we wanted them to. But basically the wood-fired pizza oven is too hot. It literally just catches the parchment paper. It like instantly just catches it on fire. Whereas your regular oven is not going to be 700-800 degrees when it hits the ground. So yeah, look at these are every one of them getting a little bit better. I think it's amazing. Like, I don't know if I've ever gone to like a brunch place or like a breakfast place and ordered crepes though. Wait, no, that was different. That was French toast. That was a French toast. Never mind. But I mean, they're delicious. So
There's that crepe restaurant.
there's a creperie,
Right
yeah,
down.
which I think is hilarious. That's the name for like a crepe restaurant. It's called a creperie, like a bakery. Oh man.
I've only ever done it at the New York, and Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
They have a little crepe stand.
I mean, listen. When they have, so they have, well, hold on. I seem to remember Amy and I being in San Francisco down at the pier, and there was a vendor who was making on like a big round stone. He was making big ones, and he'd make them, and they'd roll them up and then cut them into fourths, and then that's what you would get, and then you could get whatever toppings you wanted or whatever. But
I remember one night I was out walking the streets of Laos after a night of drinking,
this is a weird story beginning.
and they had a crepe guy making crepes you could have on your way home before hitting the bed. I had one. I had a Nutella crepe out there.
I will tell you, street food is one of those things that I love. Like, I love the concept of it. I love the people who make it, because, like, you think to yourself, I should not probably eat this. And you're going to eat one of the best things you've ever eaten.
Yeah.
One time,
Southeast Asia,
Yeah,
all over the
I
place.
know, that is my dream. One time, my older brother Terry, and our friend Scott, we went to a town in Alaska called Talkeetna, because a band that we liked was playing there. And so while we were there, we were camping, and afterwards there was the man literally outside the venue, and he had a cooler, and inside this cooler was burritos that he had pre-made. And after drinking and dancing and just hooping and hollering for, basically 3 hours, I still dream about that burrito and how good it was. Because again, it's just like, it was simple, it was right there when we wanted it, and it just got the job done. And that's better-ish.
You liking the scoop?
We'll see. I mean, it does get out faster, I guess. Yeah, you gotta be careful on how much butter, because you can see there's a piece here that's like in the butter. It will all come together, but. So I'm gonna put these in the oven, and then we'll put this other one. I can imagine. I really want to go to like Southeast Asia, like to Vietnam and South Korea, and all of the different areas in Laos and stuff, to just get.
He bit me.
Different, yeah. Of course he does. He's hungry. He's hungry. He's got a taste for human flesh.
Yes.
Oh no! What have you done, Landon?
I think it was what they call a love bite.
Yeah, it's torment. I just think like the amount of like the way they just participate in food is just really, really unique. And the way they just haul everything around on these like carts, and they set everything up, and then they do 8 hours, 10 hours worth of business. They fold up, and then they goo it all again the next day.
Yep.
Maybe in a different spot. Oh yeah. That was a robot. He was dying.
What?
Okay. While that is finishing up, let's have a cocktail. So I'm going to make a real classic Manhattan for Landon.
Thank you, Doug.
So we're just gonna. This is just this nice vessel to mix everything in with some ice, and I also am going to add some ice to the glass. That is going to help cool everything in there too, and really be a nice thing. So I've got 2 ounces of Piggyback Whistle Pig Rye. It's 100%. It's aged 6 years. This one single barrel was selected by Costco Wholesale. So it must be a deal that they have with Whistle Pig to have. So I need 2 ounces of this. And we had a sniff test earlier, and
Smells delicious.
it's caramelly. It's a little sweet, but it's also got, Oh, yeah, I have an engraver landed. A laser engraver. That's right.
Oh, that's what. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked about it
Yeah.
at Amy's birthday. But yeah, it's so sweet vermouth. Make sure you get that. And this is 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. Sweet vermouth is red,
Not white.
not white.
Clear. I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. And then these are some bitters that Denise got. Yeah, and you
That
just
was on Jeopardy last night.
what was it? Really?
Bitters. Yeah.
And just 4 nice 4 dashes. There we go. That third one didn't have anything come out, so. And again, we're just gonna give it a nice stir here. Let me grab the strainer. Oh. I've been struggling kind of to try and figure out which, how many, what different cocktails we should be making. Because, 200 episodes and 200 cocktails is a lot.
It is a lot.
We've had a lot of repeats. I just noticed I'm like covered in hair. That's fine. So, that's hair still stuck in my finger. Oh yeah, look at that. That is something. And now, I have made homemade Luxardo cherries, not cornstarch.
Not cornstarch.
We have
That's
established
what
this.
the label says there.
Yeah.
For everyone in TV land.
We're gonna make sure we get 2
I like 2 in my man.
and a little. You want a little of the. Now this is not as thick of a syrup as you're gonna get, from a Luxardo out of you're gonna buy, but it's still gonna be very good. Oh, look at that, perfect Manhattan. Now I'm gonna make something very similar. But I'm going to, instead of 2 ounces of the rye, I'm going to use 1 ounce of dark rum.
Delicious, Doug. Thank you.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, that's fine. Still fine. Now, next week, yeah, they're very good, Peng. Like they're. I made it with like I followed like a recipe for like they use Luxardo liqueur and everything. So again, 1 ounce. For mine. I'm gonna do 1 ounce of the rye, and then we're gonna do that like the Zacapa, which is the dark rum. Oh, that might be. You know what? That's it for that bottle. We'll just go ahead and do that. So, a little sweet vermouth. And now I am partial to orange bitters, and so I think with the rum it's going to impart a nice flavor to it. Give it a nice stir.
How is it, Landon?
Very tasty. Do you like a try?
No, thank you.
That's like pure
Thank
gas.
you.
That's like pure gasoline to Denise. Not to speak for you, but so those I'm going to stay warm. Oh, not so hot. Too hot. I'm going to keep that. Put it on the marble over there. And I'll probably move this, but we'll do that in a sec here. Okay. Let's see. What are you barking at me? Oops, I forgot to take the ice out.
Oh, he wants to. Oh,
Party foul.
he was just looking right at the camera. I tried to zoom in on him.
What are you doing? Why are you barking so much?
He just wanted the people to see.
I guess.
You wanted that boozy ice cube.
Well, buddy, you can't have that boozy ice cube.
Yes, very sneaky.
And again, now for a couple of cherries. And I'm wondering, I think this is just gonna have a more caramelly kind of flavoring just because of the rum.
Probably a little sweeter than that.
Yeah. Plus I like a little. Okay. Let's see how she tastes. It's very boozy.
How do you like it compared to a traditional?
Well, I'm wondering if the rye is overpowering the that
The rum?
rum a little bit. I mean, I can
You maybe like do it with a bourbon.
yeah, I think the rye might be too intense. But it is really good. I think it would be really good if you did 2 ounces of, like, you just did a play on a Manhattan, and you did like 2 ounces of rum, vermouth, and bitters. I think that would be a good kind of a combination. So it is. It's definitely one of those things where I'm like, hey, what's up, guys?
Uh huh.
Whew. That's a lot. It's good though. It's just one of those things, you know, you kind of gotta, like, you forget that a Manhattan or something like that is just literally a booze kick.
Uh huh.
It's good. I think that's why I prefer an old fashioned, because it's got a little bit of sugar, a little bit more sugar in it. So, all right, so I'm gonna do a teeny bit of cleanup here so we can not electrocute ourselves or burn ourselves in this process. It's going to be hot, so be careful. Let me get it because it's going to be super hot. I just don't want anybody to get burned. Okay, perfect. I'm going to need all of this stuff eventually again, so I'm just going to set it off here. Sorry, Tiny Whisk. Okay. Yeah, Blue loves ice cubes. I think we've talked about this, but he really does. So, just cleaning this off. Thanks, Denise. Okay. Got a little bit of. Ooh. I can feel like my belly is getting warm.
Yeah.
It's like. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's good though. I think like this is for me anymore. This would be one of those things where I have like one of these, and then I'm like,
Uh huh.
I think I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh. So, you guys may have noticed we have a new cutting block.
Oh yeah. You haven't told them about it.
Yeah, this is the steal of the century, I think. So I was on Wednesday before the holiday. At the university that I work, I was at work and I got a phone call from the parking department, and they're like, "So one of our people was driving through the lot that you park in, and we noticed that you had a flat tire."
Now that's service.
I will tell you, it was service. And what the nice part about it is, it turns out to be that one of an acquaintance of ours who was more friendly in the past, his name is Damon. his wife, Kathleen, was sorority sisters with Denise and Amy. And so we used to hang out socially a little bit and stuff, but have drifted apart. But anyways, he didn't know it was me. So he's the one who called it in, and then they called me, and then I was like, oh yeah, for sure, I'm going to rush right over there. Let me take care of it. So they came, they helped me pump the tire up. There was definitely a hole in it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to, I know where a Les Schwab is, one of those tire places, which is where I'm taking it. So I go there, the guy, Damon, he finally recognizes me. We commensurate a little bit. And then he's like, well, I'm going to follow you to the tire place so that if anything happens, I can help you out. Which I thought was unbelievable. So on Monday when I go into the work, I need to stop and get donuts and water and some soda maybe, and just drop it off to them, because they went above and beyond. So I want to say my thank yous. But once I got to the tire place, it was going to be like an hour wait until, they said, well, an hour total for everything. I was like, okay, cool. There's a Goodwill nearby, and I go to this Goodwill, and I'm walking around and I see this cutting board, and I'm looking at it, and it's from a company called Booze Block. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of a mid-grade cutting board company. And so I was like, I know this is something. I don't know what it is, but it was only $15. So I ended up purchasing it, and I'm like, I know I got a steal here. I don't know how much of a steal I've gotten, but I got a steal. And I end up going, and I'm carrying it. It's like 30 pounds. So I get it home, I clean it up, I measure it. It's 18 inches by 24 inches by an inch and a half thick. And I look it up on their website. It's a $200 brand, new cutting board. It's 100% walnut, and it's really, really, really good. And so I'm like, hi John. This is the John's Crepes that I was talking about, everybody. So anyways, I got this fancy new, which I had been looking for one for a very long time, and ended up getting a nice upgrade for somebody either I imagine was cleaning out someone's house, or they were just downsizing and didn't want it or whatever, but it made its way into my house by pure circumstance, and I needed, like I said, I wanted a newer one of these for a while, so I have this now. So it's okay. You're here now. So we've already made the crepes. They're warming. We made a cocktail. Now we're going to start to piece together what we're going to make. Now, again, I've got this kind of compote that I've made-ish. It's going to be delicious. Well, I can already tell. Let's have a little. Oh no. That was really good.